For Indiana, Clark from way downtown. She gets it to go. A rounded down for Caitlin Clark from 35 feet. Clark, the hesitation. Driving into Melbourne, draws the foul, throws it in. A flex of the biceps. Inside for Lexi, Holu's fouled. Count it, and Hole will go to the...
Caitlin Clark just delivered one of the most efficient performances in WNBA history, and somehow, the biggest conversation after the game still became the coaching decisions. On May 17th, the Indiana Fever finally snapped their painful home losing streak with an 89-78 win over the Seattle Storm, and Clark was absolutely at the center of everything. She finished the night with 21 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds in under 25 minutes of play. Let that sink in for a second. Not in 35 minutes, not in a full game, under 25 minutes. And with those numbers, Caitlin Clark became the first player in WNBA history to record 20 points and 10 assists in fewer than 25 minutes. But while fans should have been celebrating one of the greatest efficient performances the league has ever seen, people instead left the game asking one huge question. Why did Stephanie White keep taking Caitlin Clark out of the game while she was completely dominating? Coming into this matchup, Indiana desperately needed a win. The Fever had been struggling at home for months, and fans were getting frustrated. Every home game felt like the same story. Packed crowd, high expectations, and then another disappointing loss. Even before tip-off against Seattle, the energy inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse felt cautious. Fans wanted to believe this team had finally turned a corner, but after watching loss after loss at home, nobody was fully confident anymore. And then Caitlin Clark stepped on the floor. Right from the opening possessions, she looked aggressive, confident, and completely in control. Early in the game, she drilled a deep three-pointer from way beyond the arc, and suddenly the crowd woke up. You could feel the entire building change. The Fever were moving the ball better, pushing the pace harder, and playing with an energy that had been missing for weeks. Seattle came into the game already dealing with major problems. They were short-handed, missing key front-court players including Dominique Malonga, AZ Magbagor, and Katie Lou Samuelson. On paper, this looked like the perfect opportunity for Indiana to finally take advantage and secure a comfortable win. But even with Seattle struggling, somebody still had to step up and control the game. That somebody was Caitlin Clark. She wasn't forcing bad shots, she wasn't hunting stats, she was simply reading the defense possession after possession and making the right decision every single time. When Seattle gave her space, she scored. When they sent extra defenders, she punished them with perfect passes. And this is what made her performance so special. Clark only took 10 field goal attempts all night. 10. Most star players need 20 or 25 shots to put up numbers like that. Clark finished with 21 points while shooting 50% from the field and a perfect 9 for 9 from the free throw line. That is elite efficiency. After the game, Clark even explained why the free throws mattered so much. She said getting to the line cleaned up a lot of her field goal attempts because instead of forcing difficult shots, she attacked downhill, absorbed contact, and earned easy points at the line. And honestly, that's one of the biggest improvements in her game. Last season, defenders could get extremely physical with Clark, especially when she attacked the basket. But this year, she looks stronger, more patient, and far more comfortable playing through contact. Instead of settling for tough jumpers, she's forcing defenders into impossible situations. Either they foul her, or she gets all the way to the rim. But the scoring was only half the story. The playmaking might have been even more impressive. Clark finished with 10 assists in just 24 minutes, and these weren't simple passes leading to lucky baskets. These were high-level reads against a professional defense. Time after time, she drew defenders toward her and then found open teammates in perfect rhythm. Sophie Cunningham benefited from it. Kelsey Mitchell benefited from it. Maisha Hines-Allen benefited from it. Every time Seattle tried to trap Clark or pressure her, she calmly picked them apart. And when you combine her 21 points with the points created through her assists, Clark was personally responsible for well over half of Indiana's total offense. That's superstar-level impact. Monique Billings stepped into the rotation and gave the Fever valuable energy and defensive effort. Ma'Sha Hines-Allen helped stabilize the lineup, while Sophie Cunningham brought toughness and aggression off the bench. And Cunningham deserves real credit here. She finished with 17 points and 3 rebounds in 25 minutes, while attacking the rim aggressively all night long. Even though her three-point shot wasn't falling consistently, she kept putting pressure on Seattle's defense and creating momentum plays for Indiana. At one point during a small ball lineup, Cunningham scored 7 points in just 4 minutes and completely shifted the energy of the game. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark kept controlling everything. Every possession looked smoother with her on the floor. Every offensive set looked more organized. Every player looked more confident when Clark was running the offense. And then came the moment that completely confused fans. With more than 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Clark already had 21 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. She was only 3 rebounds away from a triple-double. The crowd knew it, the commentators knew it, everyone watching at home knew it, and then Stephanie White pulled her out of the game. Again. Fans immediately exploded online. People could not understand why the Fever coach kept benching the hottest player on the floor during the middle of a historic performance. And the frustration wasn't only about the triple-double, it was about rhythm. Throughout the game, White repeatedly interrupted Clark's momentum with substitutions that made very little sense to viewers. At one point, Clark was taken out just over a minute into the second quarter, despite already getting rest during the quarter break. That's the part many fans found difficult to understand. How do you pull your superstar when she's completely controlling the game, especially when the offense clearly looks different with her on the floor? And when people compared Clark's efficiency to some of the other players still getting heavy minutes, the criticism became even louder. Kelsey Mitchell finished with 17 points, but she needed 18 shots to get there and shot just 1 for 5 from three-point range. Meanwhile, Clark scored 21 points on only 10 shot attempts, while also creating constant opportunities for teammates. So naturally, fans started asking questions. Why keep taking out the most efficient player on the court? Why interrupt her rhythm when she's clearly dominating? And why remove her with a triple-double within reach during one of the biggest performances of her career? To many viewers, it felt like Clark was being iced while she was in the middle of making history. Now, to be fair, coaches always talk about managing minutes and protecting players during a long season, and maybe Stephanie White believed she was doing exactly that. But this is where the situation becomes complicated. Because there's a difference between normal rotation management and taking away momentum from a player who is completely taking over the game. After the game, though, Clark handled everything exactly the way fans have come to expect from her. She didn't complain. She didn't criticize her coach. She didn't talk about the missed triple-double opportunity. Instead, she focused entirely on her teammates. She specifically praised Monique Billings, Ma'Sha Hines-Allen, and the bench players for stepping up after Aaliyah Boston's injury. She talked about the importance of getting to the free throw line and said she simply tried to take what the defense gave her. That response says a lot about her maturity, because most players would have been frustrated. And if this is the version of Caitlin Clark the WNBA is going to see moving forward, then the rest of the league has a serious problem. Because she's not just becoming the face of the Indiana Fever anymore, she's becoming the face of the entire WNBA. So what do you think? Did Stephanie White make the right decision by pulling Caitlin Clark out during such a historic performance, or should she have stayed on the floor to chase the triple-double and an even bigger night? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest basketball updates, WNBA news, and Caitlin Clark coverage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.